Hey, everybody. Hello, everyone. Welcome back, everybody. It has been quite a while. So, hey, everybody, just wanted to hop on in here, say hello. I thought I'd do a really quick Q&A because it's been a while. Everybody gather around. It's been so long. Let's talk, guys. Welcome back, everyone. I'll give you guys a couple of minutes to hop on in here. Meanwhile, I wanted to just say hello. Check in on the Victory Life podcast, fam, see how things were going. We've had a couple of holidays, so I figured you guys have had a chance to settle down from the holidays and get yourself situated. So everybody hop on in here and settle down. Let's catch up. Let's connect. Let's see what's going on. So welcome, everybody. Wanted to connect with you guys. I was just finished reviewing a podcast, and it was just a regular, I would say a regular pop life culture podcast, nothing major. But when I saw the podcast at the very end, it was now, interestingly enough, this is like what people in the world would consider a worldly guy. But what's interesting about my experience watching this man's podcast is that I knew he was a Christian, and it kind of rubber stamped the idea that I feel like my discernment is strong about people. So I know for the world, they consider him just a worldly guy, but this is a young guy. He's probably about 30 years old podcasting. He's married with 2 kids. And, when you think about his approach to podcasting, he does do like the whole TMZ thing. He's not a Christian podcaster, but at the very end, like I always hear when he's like doing reaction videos, I hear the godliness like bubbling up in him, and sometimes he's giving the reaction, but I can sense his level of discontent with what he's reviewing, and then he'll oftentimes put the godly spin on it, and I'm like, I always knew. That's how I knew. It's because something inside of him gets a little irritable when it comes to people acting out of order. Anyways, if you guys have questions, pop them in the chat. I'm glad to take your questions. Welcome, everybody. We're doing a quick Q&A, so you can ask me anything. You can pop any question in the chat, and I'm going to take your questions. So welcome back, everybody. I also wanted to just reflect on some of the content I've been consuming lately to say, how interesting I'm finding the other creators out here. So go ahead and pop those questions in the chat. I'm going to be taking your questions as I move through everything. But certainly, wow, I just want to say that I found it really, really interesting when I observed this gentleman. So he talked all about, here's what he talked about. And I like I said, I found it very interesting. This gentleman talked about Valentine's Day. And so he was reflecting on it. Now, this is a man who's got a wife and children. So let me put it in perspective. But he's talking about Valentine's Day, and he starts talking about how the gentlemen try to do nice things for the women, and how they'll, do the flowers, and they'll like dress things up, and all the little things that go on. And one of the thoughts that came to mind as I was listening in, and of course he's reacting to other videos. One of the things that came to mind is this expectation of what people are supposed to exchange in the name of love. So it was a bit, when I listened into it, here's what I found interesting. And you guys can let me know how you guys feel in the chat. Also throw your questions in the chat and I'll take them as I see them. What I found interesting is the women who were speaking on this topic, how some of them automatically felt pressured to transfer the receipt of their gifts for an intimate act. They automatically felt a sense that they were required to exchange these things. And what the podcast host was saying is like, there's never a requirement to exchange anything. But when you listen to the women who were speaking on the topic, they did feel the pressure to exchange their body as part of the just as part of the process. As they got this nice gift, it was Valentine's Day, and they felt that it was just a requirement to exchange their body for that gift. And guys, oh my gosh, the level of pain in my heart I felt when I saw that, because these are young women, y'all. These are young women. And it just shows you how far we've fallen from the order of God. If I just have to say it. I had to say it like I got to say it. It shows you how far we've fallen from the order of God, because in the order of God, what we would want to see is we want to see people that are freely giving, and we want to see from a physical aspect that there is an element that that we're not, going forward without God's blessing or without God's covenant. So that's the godly way of considering it. But the world will carve God out of it, and then the reality is, the risk is that they're leaving themselves open to the world standards. We'll put it that way, if that makes any sense. And the world standards they change every day. And what's good for today is not good for tomorrow, so you never know what to expect, right? So I say all that to say there's such a sadness in my heart for what I feel like is the world standards, and women feeling obligated to the world standards. There's such a sadness in my heart, because as I saw that, my immediate thought was, these women are not seeing that. And I'm sure men feel this way too, but it was just the reaction videos that I saw. It was women feeling that it was just the requirement for them to exchange their body for their gift. And I'm like, and this is Valentine's Day. And I thought to myself, well, gosh, I'm glad I didn't participate in that. But at the end of the day, like I said, these standards are troubling, and they lack God's protection. And when you walk all of this all the way back, here's the reality. The reality is that there's nothing new under the sun. The reality is that God's got this covenant in place, and this covenant protection is because he's trying to tell his daughters that he wants them to feel safe to open up, that they're not going to get left behind after they open up to someone. That's what God's trying to say, right? So I just wanted to throw out there that I thought it was so super troubling that you see this interaction of Valentine's Day, that is Valentine's Day, and then it's always nice to receive a nice gift. That's always nice. Oh yeah, Michael, I tested it. I noticed there's some static, but my set was already set up, so I just let it rip. I'm not going to edit the video. I'm not going to edit and re-release it, so I didn't care. But I'll probably hang up, and then if I go live from my setup was already set up because I was testing it and doing things. But so I already I checked, and I knew there was static, but I was like, I don't have to do anything if I just go from this set. So we'll let it rip, and next time I'll go live for myself. But I wanted to just let it rip this way because I'm not going to cut the video anyhow, so I figured it was. But I do have my little dongle. I do have it, so I can just plug it to my cell phone if I do. I mean, if it's bugging you, I can just start again and just plug it in, and it'll be live this way. But I already had this one plugged in because I was doing something. But yeah, it was just like baffling me because of that. Let me switch it, and then I'll log back in. So hold tight for like 3 minutes. I'm gonna hang up. I'm gonna dial back in with this one. This one doesn't. I don't know why. That's my whole system. I don't know why that one's staticky. In my earlier days, it wasn't, but I used to connect. This is the original equipment. I would connect the whole camera, DSLR camera, to this. That's the difference. And so all the audio went through here and then it went live. And there was never an issue with staticky when I brought it in through here. I have not been using this thing. Transparently, it's a whole nother thing to log into. I just haven't been using it. It's probably not even charged. You see, it's off. Probably not even charged. So I'm not going to log into it either. But let me just log in from my cell phone and let's just see. That's the sleep. Like, that's what worked before. So I'm going to hang up and I'll log right back in and let's see.